Chapter 548. Zhou Xuanji was not scared by the old immortal and calmly asked, "Senior, please guide me." Meeting the primordial ancestor was definitely not just a fortuitous encounter. The primordial ancestor had said that he was being chased by his enemies. Just what kind of enemy could force the primordial ancestor into such a state? Also, the reason why the primordial ancestor had given them the eye was definitely not as simple as helping them suppress the heavenly law demon lord. Perhaps he wanted to divert the trouble to someone else. The primordial ancestor came from the Kunlun origin court and disappeared a long time ago. I didn't expect that he would appear before the heavenly Daos. The enemy he offended is definitely an existence that surpasses the heavenly Daos. He gave you his eyes because he wants to escape. His body is no longer here and only his eyes are left. Since you have these eyes, you can't escape from him. With his current ability, he couldn't stop the powerhouses of the Kunlun origin court at all. Is there a way to break it? Zhou Xuanji asked. He could not pluck out his eyes. If he did, he would become blind. He had yet to cultivate any techniques or divine abilities that could reconstruct his body. Let's wait and see what happens first. Try not to use your eyes. Your beautiful woman is also in the heart of the demon world and won't come out for a while. That powerhouse of the Kunlun origin court won't easily enter the heavenly law. After all, the heavenly law is also controlled by someone. But if you use the power of your eyes, he will lock onto you immediately and use his supreme divine ability to teleport you out. The old immortal muttered, and Zhou Xuanji nodded. Who was the one controlling the heavenly Tao? He suddenly felt that all living beings under the heavenly law were frogs at the bottom of a well, including the heavenly saints. Who would have thought that the heavenly axiom with the highest status was actually in the hands of another existence? What counts as using my eyes? I'm using my eyes to communicate with her. Does that count? Zhou Xuanji continued to ask. The demon realm heart was the origin of the demons, and Xian Xianghua could easily become bedeviled. His eyes might really be able to help her. The old immortal replied, "This doesn't count as using. It only counts as communicating with your eyes. Using means that you use your eyes to kill your enemies." Zhou Xuanji nodded, bowed and left. His top priority now was to quickly become stronger and reach Universe Heaven level 18 as soon as possible. After thinking about it, Zhou Xuanji flew on his sword towards the battlefield between the humans and demons. Half a month later, he arrived at the eastern battlefield of the Center God Province. With the tyrannical might of the primordial chaos sword Shadow, he killed millions of evil demons. His cultivation was still a bit away from Universe Heaven level 13. Another month passed. He descended on another battlefield and killed 8 million demons. His cultivation level finally broke through to Universe Heaven level 13. 20 days later, he came to the north of the Center God Province and fought 3 demon emperors and 5 million powerful demons alone. He killed all of them with his sword and broke through to Universe Heaven level 14. The demon race had gone mad, and so had the Center God Province. Both races were discussing Zhou Xuanji's name. The demons hated him so much that they gnashed their teeth, while the living beings of the Center God Province cheered for him. The Sword Emperor is too powerful. How did he become so strong? Haha, the devil race can't even compare to a single person from our Center God Province. With the Sword Emperor taking action, our Center God Province will have fewer casualties. With the Sword Emperor's strength, can he also participate in the fight to become a saint? With these achievements, Zhou Xuanji became the most powerful cultivator in the Center God Province. His name shook the Wanshan Great Thousand, and he became a powerful cultivator in the world. This day, Zhou Xuanji walked in the wilderness and looked at the sceneries along the way. The fragrance of flowers and grass made him feel refreshed, and there was a gentle breeze. As he walked, he comprehended the Tao and never stopped. His sword Tao rules were growing steadily. He liked this alternative way of cultivation. As his Tao will grew, his aura began to assimilate with the heavens and the earth. Like the flowers and grass by the roadside, it was hard for others to notice him. As his reputation grew, more and more Emperor Sword Court disciples began to walk the Center God Province, especially the second-generation disciples. Not everyone wanted to ascend. They wanted to come to the Great Thousand World as soon as possible so that they could save on the time and cost of cultivation. Zhou Xuanji did not stop them. He was very lenient with his disciples. Suddenly he sensed a familiar aura. Su Yang, Xiao Jinghong's disciple, the eldest senior apprentice brother of the second-generation disciples. Daoya Old Man said that he was the reincarnation of a powerful cultivator, which was why Zhou Xuanji accepted him. Until today he had not awakened. Su Yang was 100 miles away. He was following a group of young disciples. He was wrapped around a beautiful lady in a white dress, and he could not stop laughing. Feifei, you really don't believe me? My grand teacher really is Zhou Xuanji. I'm also from the northern wilderness region. Su Yang's face was full of smiles as he continuously spoke, causing the lady in the white dress to frown. The surrounding disciples could not bear to watch anymore. A young and arrogant male disciple stood out and shouted, "Brat, don't bother our eldest senior apprentice sister anymore, or else I'll kill you." Su Yang's cultivation was now at second tribulation scattered immortal. He might be able to dominate a region in the northern wilderness region, but he was nothing in the center God province. These cultivators were also great tribulation scattered immortals, and they came from a third-rate faction. Su Yang glared at the male disciple and harumphed as he said, "Let me tell you, if your eldest senior apprentice sister marries me, your fowls and dogs will rise to the heavens. I advise you to be more respectful and help me persuade your eldest senior apprentice sister." Towards the end he became quite pleased. The lady in the white dress coldly harumphed and said mockingly, "How could the Sword Emperor have a grand disciple like you? Your cultivation is about the same as ours. Why would he like you? Just because you're so shameless?" Su Yang chuckled and said, "That's true." In the distance, Zhou Xuanji shook his head. This boy was ruining his reputation. However, he could not be bothered to bicker with him. Even though Su Yang was shameless, he was not a despicable person who would kidnap women. Moreover, he might not be able to defeat these cultivators. After thinking about that, Zhou Xuanji continued to comprehend Tao. After a while, Su Yang and the others left. Zhou Xuanji suddenly stopped, and figures suddenly rose up from the ground around him. Demons. These demons were surrounded by demonic qi, and only their blood-red eyes could be seen, making them look incredibly terrifying. "Sword Emperor, you've killed so many of our demon race's youths, you won't be able to escape today." One of the demons spoke, his voice filled with killing intent. Zhou Xuanji raised his eyebrows and asked, "Do you think you can kill me?" Even though he could not see through these demons' cultivations, he could sense that they were not very powerful. At most, they were at connecting heaven level 2. "Of course we can." At that moment, another voice sounded out, and Zhou Xuanji immediately narrowed his eyes. Ruined Demon Emperor. The Ruined Demon Emperor, who was dressed in blood-red robes, rose up, her white hair fluttering in the wind as she stared at Zhou Xuanji. It was not just her. A terrifying figure descended from the sky and landed behind the demons. He was 300 meters tall and looked like a mountain. He wore heavy black armor and a helmet that looked like a bull's head. His expression was cold and he had a full beard. His eyes were dark and his eyes danced with a cold light. Chapter 549. Tell me your name. Zhou Xuanji said calmly. He directly activated the 9-soul fusion technique infused with demon god Tianwu. His aura suddenly changed, causing the demon's heart to jump. The 1,000-foot fiend said in a deep voice, "I am Fiend Celestial Yukuan." He did not act immediately. Zhou Xuanji's battle achievements were too shocking. He looked ferocious, but he felt a little uneasy in his heart. The Ruined Demon Emperor's gaze was complicated. Back then, she had almost killed Zhou Xuanji, and she had never thought that Zhou Xuanji would become so powerful after 20 years. She suspected that Zhou Xuanji was lying to her on purpose. She shuddered at the thought of the possibility. If Zhou Xuanji had used his full power, she would have been dead for sure. Zhou Xuanji took out all of his legendary swords, causing the demons to retreat in fear. Seeing their expressions, Zhou Xuanji could not help but shake his head and smile as he said, "Is this the attitude that you want to kill me?" He was obviously very scared, but he had to pretend to be fierce. Demon God Yukuan said in a low voice, "Zhou Xuanji, how did you grow so quickly? I heard that you obtained the corpse of one of the 10 great ancient devil gods, the heavenly Wu devil god?" Zhou Xuanji asked, "Who are you waiting for? Fiend ancestor?" If it was the demonic ancestor, then that was fine. He could remove a threat for Xian Xianghua in advance. If the devil ancestor found out that Xian Xianghua obtained the devil realm heart, he would definitely be furious. Demon God Yukuan frowned and seemed to agree with Zhou Xuanji's words. Whoosh, the divine sword suddenly moved, directly using sword Dao rules. Sword light flashed through the heavens and earth, and all of the demons around Zhou Xuanji were killed. Apart from Demon God Yukuan and the Ruined Demon Emperor, everyone else was killed. Demon God Yukuan and the Ruined Demon Emperor were only left with their souls, and they quickly retreated far away from Zhou Xuanji. How is this possible? What was that just now? The Ruined Demon Emperor's face was filled with panic as he shouted in a trembling voice. Demon God Yukuan was also given a big fright, and his gaze towards Zhou Xuanji was filled with shock. He finally understood why Zhou Xuanji could kill Duyishan. How terrifying. He didn't see clearly what was going on with that sword just now. Zhou Xuanji smiled and said, "Your reinforcements are not here yet? If you don't come you'll all die." Demon God Yukuan and the ruined demon emperor's faces darkened. They wanted to run away, but their plan would be ruined if they did. Why isn't that guy here yet? Could it be that he was deliberately tricking them? "Zhou Xuanji, you are really arrogant." A familiar chilling laughter came. Zhou Xuanji looked up and saw the demonic emperor in the sky looking down at him. Zhou Xuanji asked curiously, "Why aren't you dead yet?" The demonic emperor's face darkened immediately. Zhou Xuanji's behavior made him feel very uncomfortable. He wasn't shocked or angry, just curious. It was as if he was curious about an ant that had been trampled to death and wanted to step on it again. This brat humiliated him. The demonic emperor raised his hands and roared. Rumble, the ground shook, and strands of blood chi appeared on the ground within a radius of 100 miles. Looking down from the sky, these blood chi formed runes and formed a formation. In the distance, Su Yang and the others looked back in horror. "What's that? That scream just now, someone is fighting." The sword light from before was so terrifying. "This is a formation? Who's in the formation?" "It's too strong. Do you feel that terrifying pressure?" The young disciples cried out in alarm. Su Yang and the white-dressed woman were also very flustered. They quickly left, distancing themselves from the blood chi formation. The demonic emperor looked down at Zhou Xuanji from high above and said, "This is the blood spirit god sealing formation. Below the heavenly saints, no one can break through it. Zhou Xuanji, you're dead for sure." Blood spirit god sealing formation? It sounded very impressive. Zhou Xuanji thought to himself and looked at the formation around him. Demon god Yukuan and the ruined demon emperor let out a sigh of relief. The demonic emperor had finally come. "Demonic emperor, can't you act faster?" The ruined demon emperor complained. Their bodies had been destroyed and their subordinates had all died. This kind of casualty made her feel quite displeased. Demon god Yukuan also frowned as he looked at the demonic emperor. If it wasn't for killing Zhou Xuanji, the demon race's target would have been the demonic emperor. The demonic emperor disdainfully laughed and did not bother to reply. If he was selfish, he could have appeared after these two fellows died. Yet they did not know how to be grateful. The demon race was only SOSO. Zhou Xuanji asked in curiosity, "Why didn't you die?" Back then he did not feel that the demonic emperor was a clone, nor did his soul escape. The demonic emperor coldly laughed and said, "Because my demon god's body has the ability to split. I already split a body, do you understand?" "Split?" Zhou Xuanji thought to himself. There should be some drawbacks to splitting. Otherwise, the demonic emperor could have created countless demon god bodies to attack him. Either his strength would decrease after splitting, or he would only be able to split one body, no more. That was why he kept them alive. After Zhou Xuanji understood, he slowly rose up and prepared to charge toward the demonic emperor. "It's impossible for you to break through the blood spirit god sealing formation." The demonic emperor laughed mockingly. The blood spirit god sealing formation was formed from the blood and flesh of many living creatures, and it possessed the power of the heavenly Tao's restrictions. Bang! The sword Tao rules suddenly exploded and dispersed the souls of the ruined demon emperor and demon god Yukuan. Quick. Extremely fast. He was so fast that the blood spirit god sealing formation could not stop him in time. The demonic emperor's eyes widened as he said in a trembling voice, "How is this possible?" At this moment, Zhou Xuanji suddenly charged at him. The blood spirit god sealing formation was activated. The blood chi turned into a gigantic net and blocked Zhou Xuanji. Zhou Xuanji shot through the blood net like an arrow. With the cultivation-absorbing demon sealer in his right hand, he pierced through the demonic emperor's chest. "You!" The demonic emperor was dumbfounded, unable to believe his eyes. How did Zhou Xuanji do it? "Don't forget what you said just now. No one below the heavenly saint can break it." Zhou Xuanji looked at him and said with a smile. He had comprehended the Tao will. Although he was not as powerful as the heavenly saints, his mental state surpassed the heavenly law. How could the blood spirit god sealing formation stop him? The demonic emperor was shocked by his words. Could Zhou Xuanji have already reached the heavenly saint stage? Impossible. He did not have the heavenly law violet chi. How could he become a saint? Hold on. Until now there was no trace of the heavenly law violet chi. Could this brat have already obtained it? In that instant, all sorts of thoughts flashed in the demonic emperor's mind, and he became more and more terrified. Zhou Xuanji used the Tianxia map to suck out the demonic emperor's soul. What are you trying to do? The demonic emperor asked with gritted teeth. He was already prepared to die, but Zhou Xuanji only sucked out his soul. This brat wanted his demon god's body. Zhou Xuanji ignored him and destroyed his soul before putting away the demon god's body. After that, he turned and left, quickly disappearing from the world. A while later, an old monk with a face full of spots appeared in the air. He looked down at the blood chi on the ground and muttered with a deep frown, "Blood spirit god sealing formation. Someone can break this formation? And demonic chi." He pinched his fingers and divined, trying to find out who broke the blood spirit god sealing formation. However, no matter how hard he tried, he could not find out. He did count the demonic emperor. Chapter 559. Zhou Xuanji did not know what was going on in the outside world, but he already had some concerns. The old immortal said that once they used the power of their eyes, they would be attacked by the primordial ancestor's enemy. He immediately sent a telepathic message into the demon realm heart: "Don't use the power of your eyes. The primordial ancestor tricked us. He has an enemy that surpasses the heavenly saints waiting outside." Xian Xianghua heard him and immediately shut up. Although she was arrogant, she understood that no matter how powerful the heavenly law demon lord was, he could not surpass the heavenly saints. The demon ancestor was furious. His aura grew more violent, and even Zhou Xuanji, who was at universe heaven level 16, could not withstand it. He had no choice but to use the 9-soul fusion technique to merge demon god Nanming into his body. The underground space collapsed violently. Zhou Xuanji resisted with his celestial energy, and the rocks that came close were turned into ashes. The demon realm heart grew smaller and smaller, and it shrank faster and faster. The dark clouds of heavenly lightning dissipated. Soon, when the demon realm heart was less than 3 meters tall, it shattered and turned into countless sparkling crystals. Xian Xianghua revealed herself. She was still wearing a purple dress, but her facial features had become somewhat bewitching. Her eyes had become somewhat blood red, and her lips were so red that it seemed as if they were about to drip blood. Coupled with her purple eyes and peerlessly beautiful appearance, she gave off a boundless charm and an extremely dangerous aura. Universe Heaven Level 2. Zhou Xuanji was shocked in his heart. This old demonic woman's cultivation grew so quickly. He was not disappointed. He was 300 years old and he was already at Universe Heaven Level 16. This old demonic woman was already 10,000 years old. The two of them were not on the same level of talent. Xian Xianghua ignored the demon ancestor and Qiu Hu and walked toward Zhou Xuanji. She came up to him and touched his face. "Your eyes are so beautiful, just like mine," she said with a faint smile. Until now, Zhou Xuanji's eyes remained purple. The people from Emperor Sword Court were not too curious about this, and they guessed that it was because of his breakthrough in cultivation. Moreover, Zhou Xuanji looked even more intimidating in this state. "How do you feel?" Zhou Xuanji asked. Xian Xianghua smiled in high spirits. Fortunately, he was not a man, or else he would have deserved a beating. She raised her chin slightly and said proudly, "Very good, unprecedentedly good. My cultivation will continue to grow, and I will surpass you soon." Zhou Xuanji raised his brow and asked, "Is it that mystical?" Xian Xianghua said proudly, "I am the master of the demon realm. The chi of the demon realm is fused into my body. I can even refine the demon realm and make it my own independent world." In the gloomy tunnel, their backs appeared extremely terrifying. Old 3. Old 4. Old 5. Old immortal Shiji cried out in shock, looking incredibly terrified. Why had they not sensed their 3 companions outside the side palace? Old immortal Shiji hurriedly controlled the fireflies and flew forwards. Zhou Xuanji also used the 9-soul fusion technique and held his 2 swords as he walked in front of the 3 people. Old immortal Shiji and the others followed. Shiji 3rd, Shiji 4th and Shiji 5th all looked incredibly terrified. Their eyes were dull and their mouths were wide open as if they had been scared to death. Shiji 4th hurriedly examined them and frowned as he said, "They're not dead but they're souls? Stealing souls? Just what was it that could steal the souls of 3 connecting heaven stage 2 cultivators right in front of their eyes?" Even Zhou Xuanji could not help but frown. The place where he had been cultivating was less than 30 meters away from here, and it had been blocked by a wall. The enemy had been so close to him but he had not sensed it at all. Zhou Xuanji put the three people's bodies into the Tianxia map and said, "I'll put them away for now. Let's investigate what did it." Old immortal Shiji nodded. Shiji II and Shiji VI took out handfuls of talisman papers and threw them out. The talisman papers quickly floated up and burned with intense flames. The strangest thing was that the intense flames did not burn the talisman papers, and the intense flames seemed to be illusory. The talisman papers circled around Shiji II and Shiji VI's bodies and quickly spun. Zhou Xuanji glanced at them and did not ask anything before flying forwards. After traveling for about 10 kilometers, they suddenly heard the sound of a woman crying, as well as the sound of a child sobbing. "Did you hear that?" Shiji VI asked cautiously, goosebumps rising all over his body. Old immortal Shiji said in a low voice, "What are you afraid of? They're just trying to be mysterious." Zhou Xuanji asked, "You know this demon god very well?" Yin Maching nodded and said, "This is demon god Jihuang. His speed is the fastest below the heavenly saints. If we are not careful we will be killed instantly." Shiji VI immortals were on tenterhooks as they listened. They stared at demon god Jihuang, fearing that he would suddenly attack. Yin Maching took out a snakeskin pipa. As he strummed the strings he said, "Let's work together. I will reduce his speed and you will be responsible for her." Before they could finish their words, demon god Jihuang appeared before them suddenly and punched Zhou Xuanji and Yin Maching's chest simultaneously. The impact sent the two flying and slammed into the golden summit. Shiji VI immortals immediately retreated in fear. At this moment, Zhou Xuanji charged over with his sword. 10,000 ultimate steps was followed by dozens of legendary swords. Seeing that his swords were about to hit demon god Jihuang, the demon god tilted his body and dodged with extreme speed. Zhou Xuanji immediately activated Sword Dao rules. Boom! Demon god Jihuang's body spun and flew backward. He landed quickly and stabilized his body. His body was covered with sword wounds but no blood flowed out. He was like a dried corpse. His wounds recovered quickly, and he disappeared on the spot again. Such self-healing ability. Zhou Xuanji frowned and immediately merged demon god Nanming into his body. With the power of two demon gods and the history asunder sword, Zhou Xuanji suddenly saw demon god Jihuang. The demon god flew above his head and smashed his leg down. It would be excruciating if he was hit by this kick. Zhou Xuanji activated Sword Dao rules again. Wherever he looked, the legendary swords charged toward him.